Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Cooking Live. This is with Kristin. This is episode 3. I'm Kristin Omdahl, and we're here in my kitchen in Southwest Florida joined by my son Marlon today, who will be reading the comments and asking the questions out loud while I cook. So please feel welcome to ask any questions as we go along, and he'll read them out loud to me, and hopefully I can give you an answer in real time. Today in episode 3, we're going to be making shawarma-inspired chicken breasts, tzatziki sauce, and cucumber salad. These are recipes that are made from the grocery store, nothing fancy about it, and that's why I say it's inspired by. These are inspired by dishes that I learned how to make when I lived in the Middle East, but they are made with American grocery store items, which I think that's pretty cool too. All fresh ingredients as well, and we're going to be making everything from scratch. If you're joining me live, please say hello. We'd love to know where you're from, and if you have any questions, please feel welcome to get started. I'm going to be juggling between the 3 recipes tonight, so I'm going to start with the chicken, but then quickly move on to the cucumber, and then come for the tzatziki, and then come back and do the cucumber salad at the end. So let's get started. I'm going to start with our spice mix let's see, where am I going to see the camera again? Let's back this up just a little bit so you can see a little bit more of the counter. Okay, so like I said, this is shawarma inspired spice mix, but we're going to be using ingredients all found in a regular American grocery store. And if you want to know the exact amounts of every ingredient that I'm using, follow the link in the video description. I've posted the recipes to every coriander, cumin, ginger, turmeric, smoked paprika, and allspice. Different amounts of each, so you'll need to check the recipe to see how much of each one I did. This is going to be more spice that I'm going to need for tonight's dinner. So if you wanted to even make this for a gift for somebody that loves this type of a spice blend, you could use a little mason jar and put it in there with a little scoop. I'm going to just mix this up and then add about a tablespoon to my chicken. I've got 5 pounds of chicken breasts in my bowl here, already thawed and brought out to room temperature, but I'm going to coat them with a little bit of olive oil first. I feel like it helps make the spices stick to the chicken better. Notice I'm not salting the chicken at this point either. I'll do that at the end of the cooking. So I'm going to start with a teaspoon of the spice mix and blend that around and see how that looks. You could marinate your chicken with the spices up to a couple of hours in advance if you wanted to. We're going to put them in the oven right away. I think with a high temperature in the oven, we're going to get a nice smoky finish to all of the spices.
Would it work with chicken thighs, legs, or drumsticks?
Absolutely. We just like to keep the fat content low in my house, which is why we usually stick to chicken breasts. But honestly, I prefer chicken thighs as well. You could absolutely do this with any cut of chicken. In fact, this spice blend would be delicious on a pork tenderloin as well. Okay, 1 teaspoon seems to have done a good job here. We've got a nice color on our chicken, but I'm going to add another half a teaspoon. Preheated my oven to 450 degrees. Everybody likes to cook their chicken at different temperatures. I prefer, especially with boneless, skinless chicken breasts, I prefer a high temperature to sear the meat and retain all the juices inside.
What's on the menu? What's on the menu?
Tonight we're making shawarma-inspired chicken breasts with tzatziki sauce and cucumber salad. And I've got a little story about the cucumber salad when we get there as well. But we're going to be juggling a couple of things in the beginning here because we have to get the chicken in the oven We have to get the cucumbers draining, and then we'll move on. We're doing cucumbers two ways, actually. I'm gonna put the chicken breasts out onto a baking dish. Okay, and at 450 degrees in a preheated oven, these chicken breasts will take probably around 15 to 18 minutes to cook. And I will check the temperature as we get closer to that time because we're gonna want an internal temperature of about 165 degrees. Okay, give them each their own space. We've got our chicken, we'll throw it in the oven. And
How
set
long
the
are we
timer.
putting it in for?
Whoops, I always do that. Okay, at 450 degrees, I like to cook chicken, they're pretty decent sized chicken breasts, boneless, skinless. I like to cook them for around 15 minutes, but it's really dependent on the actual size they are. So you want to take a temperature. You want to take their temperature when you get close to the right time and make sure they reach 165 degrees on the inside. Then once they get to 155 degrees, if that's what your reading is, it's only like another minute. Once they start getting close to the temperature, the rate of increase is quicker at the end than it is at the beginning. So we'll check at 15 minutes, and if it's at 155, 160, we'll just go one more minute, and if it's at 165, we'll take them out and let them start resting. The next thing I want to do is get my cucumbers draining for the tzatziki sauce. Tzatziki is a Greek yogurt and cucumber dip that can be used as a dip. It can be used as a sauce on chicken, fish, pork, rice. We eat it on just about anything. But the key to a successful tzatziki sauce, it's really easy to make, but the key to a successful one is getting your cucumbers drained. If you use all of the juice that's in cucumbers, they have a very high water rate. It'll end up being too soggy. So what I do is I line my colander with some paper towels. I did 2 sheets going one direction and 2 sheets going the other direction, because when I take these out, I want to have that extra to pull up to be able to squeeze out more. And I'll put a couple more on the bottom here. Next, I'm going to put this inside a bowl. So I'll put the colander right inside a bowl, because as the cucumbers drain, the water will go down in the bowl. And I'm going to take 2 English cucumbers and grate them on the largest size of my box grater. This is going to take a minute or two, so if you have any questions, please feel welcome to ask. I'll try to even read them out loud. Marlon, are you reading too?
Yeah.
Okay. I see him playing on his phone. They're called English cucumbers. I am not sure if it actually means they're grown in England, but that's a great question. The reason I use these is because the inside has minimal seeds and very small seeds, so I don't feel the need to scoop them out. If I were using traditional cucumbers, I would probably cut them in half lengthwise and scoop the seeds out. I find them to be just a little too big, and you end up tasting them instead of tasting the cucumber. Whereas with this type of cucumber, I don't feel like you taste them at all, which just makes it that much easier on a weeknight to not have to add an extra step to grating the cucumbers. Okay, I'm close to the bottom, so I'm going to leave that piece. You want to eat that?
I'm okay.
Okay. Sometimes I eat the piece that's left over.
I only wait till you.
Okay, so I'm going to use 2 cucumbers, because what I'm going to do is use the whole 32 ounce container of Greek yogurt, because I like to have extra on hand. This is one of my favorite sauces to use as a dip with carrot sticks or celery sticks, to eat with crackers, or to add on plain rice, and to add to any meat or fish. It's just great to have on hand. Once I put it in the fridge, it'll last, good 3 or 4 days. Okay, the key to getting all the moisture out of these cucumbers quickly is to add a little salt.
Do you use plain yogurt?
I use Greek yogurt, and I try to usually use 0% fat, just like I said, to keep the fat content down, but you can use any percent fat you like. But I use the Greek yogurt because it's a little bit thicker than plain yogurt. Okay, so we'll add some salt. And we're going to remember that we put salt on it at this point, because even though some of the moisture is going to come out, that salt's going to remain, so you'll want to adjust your seasoning accordingly because you've already salted the cucumbers a little bit. And mixing it around a little bit, get that salt in there, and we're now going to let this one sit on the side while we move on to something else. Which means it's time to work on the cucumber salad, and I told you there was going to be a story about this one. So, did you have a question?
Yeah. Would the cucumber sauce go well with a spicy curry?
Oh my gosh, yes. In fact, there are Indian sauces, I think it's called raita, that is very similar. So, like I said in the beginning, this is inspired by a shawarma dish and inspired by Middle Eastern food. There's no reason why you can't mix and match those things. There is a cucumber yogurt sauce that is specifically made for curries, but it's not to say that this cucumber yogurt sauce wouldn't be amazing with curries. In fact, one of the reasons why I like it so much with shawarma is that coolness and that tanginess really contrast with the warm exotic spices of the shawarma mix. So even though ours isn't spicy, I don't add hot pepper or cayenne or anything to mine, even though you could, it's still that contrast of warmth to coolness. So yes, a curry would be wonderful with this type of a yogurt dip. Great question. Okay, so I was saying that our cucumber salad is something that I had a story about. When I lived in Israel, there was a salad there that they called Greek salad, which was a cubed cucumber salad that was perfectly cubed. And then it had shredded feta cheese on top. And sometimes it came with onion in it, sometimes it had parsley, sometimes it had tomatoes, but the base was always these perfectly cubed cucumbers and shredded feta cheese. Since, what was that, 15 years ago that I lived there, I've made so many variations of this salad. And what I end up doing is starting with that cucumber base and then turning it into all sorts of salads. It's a great base for an antipasta salad or any other type of a big salad that you want to take to a party. I use that instead of a lettuce base because it lasts longer. You can put the dressing on it and it won't lose its crunch very quickly. So having said that, I want to show you my absolute favorite kitchen tool or kitchen gadget, and that is a chopper that I found that will do all of that work for me and give me these perfectly cubed cucumbers with a 1/2-inch dice. Now, the machine also comes with a 1/4-inch dice. Where did I put it? So when I add tomatoes to it, which Marlon doesn't like, so we're not going to do that one tonight. We're just going to do the base cucumber salad. And then in future recipes, I'll show you how we add on to it. But here's, if I was going to add tomato or onion, I would use the 1/4-inch dice. Do you know how quick it is to chop tiny things with this? It's amazing. But anyway, we're going to use the 1/2-inch dice tonight, and that's what's going to give us our cucumbers in perfect size in no time at all. So let's move all of this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Now the key to getting them perfectly cubed is the fact that we'll have to cut the slices of cucumber around the same size as this because there's 3 dimensions to a cube, right? If I cut my cucumbers this long and then push them through, they'd be like French fries that have this width and this height, but then that length would still be long. So we want to make sure that we cut our discs the same size as the cube, you know, roughly speaking. So where am I going to be on camera? Let's move down a little bit more. And we'll start there. Okay, so I'm going to eyeball it. If you're off a little bit, it's not that big a deal, but I'm going to try to go for about a 1/2 inch. Looks like I'm going a little bit more than that, but that's okay. Okay, are you ready for this? This is so fast. I'm gonna put a slice on there. Done. Another one. You can stack them up in there. That was 2. Here's 2 more. I don't know why this makes me so happy, but it does.
It's satisfying.
Do you know how long this would take me to do? And I absolutely would be lazy about it, or I'd be too fast
Does it
about
really push
it.
down? Or is
You,
it just...
you push down on it.
Yeah.
And then it hangs on to all of them inside. But look at how perfectly they are diced. If I was doing this by hand, I would be rushing myself, and I would not be doing it perfectly. And I have to tell you, the texture in your mouth when something is chopped perfectly, I just feel like it tastes better than when it's not. I don't know why. And wait till you see how pretty it looks too. So we'll get our second cucumber in here. Marlon could eat his body weight in this cucumber feta salad.
Oh my God.
So I make at least 2 cucumbers when we're making this, just for the 2 of us even. So on different, I never add tomato when I'm making it for Marlon, but if I was adding tomato, I'd do the 1/4 inch dice. I think it looks really pretty in a different texture than the cucumber. And sometimes I add cilantro, sometimes I add, sometimes I add parsley, sometimes I add dill. I've added green onion to this before. And when I'm making it for other people, sometimes I add a dressing to it, but Marlon happens to love it, just cucumber and the crumbled feta cheese. So that's what we'll be doing tonight. That's our base salad. And the salt in the feta draws out some of the moisture in the cucumber, so it ends up creating a type of dressing on it. And it's just amazing. Even those 2 ingredients make an incredibly delicious salad. We'll put these off to the side.
Where do you get the cuber?
It's on Amazon, and I have this one listed in my Amazon shop. I have bought other ones over the years, and to be honest with you, there are inferior and superior products. This is the one that has the best rated on Amazon. In fact, before this one was around, the one that I used to buy before that, I would buy it, use it for about a year, and it would break, and I'd rebuy it. I didn't even care because it was the only one that existed, and I love what it does so much that I would keep buying it. Anyway, this is the one that is the highest rated in customer service on Amazon, and I absolutely love it so far. And I noticed some differences that make it a better quality product as well.
Do you always leave the skin on the cucumbers?
I do. I try to leave the skin on vegetables as much as possible. Anytime Marlon won't fuss about skin on vegetables because I just feel like there's more nutrients in it. I don't feel like it affects the flavor that much here, and I think the color contrast is really pretty.
Why crumble the feta cheese?
Just because it's quicker and easier. If I were going to be doing this for a party, I might buy a block of feta and shred it, and then I would make sure that it was cold, and I would shred it on my box grater because it is so beautiful to see this snow of shredded feta on top of the salad. It looks like fluffy snow on there. It's beautiful. But this is a weeknight meal. We're trying to get a whole lot of homemade from scratch food done in 30 minutes or 40 minutes. So it's just more practical for me on a day like this to use pre-shredded or pre-crumbled feta, or to just crumble it myself. What's the matter?
No, nothing.
What?
I don't know, I had something in my ear.
I saw a long comment. Could you not get to it?
No,
Is it too long?
no, my ear, literally. Because like I said earlier, with the bug, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, so here's all our cucumbers cubed. And put them in the bowl. You're salivating already, aren't you?
I'm not like.
Do you want any herbs in here tonight, or are you fine with this just being?
You can go ahead. I don't mind.
I mean, I'm gonna put herbs in the tzatziki, so if you
Whatever
just want
you want, I don't mind.
Okay.
I mean, I like classic.
You-
It's your choice.
Oh, let's just do classic then.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got 2 English cucumbers, beautifully cubed. I'm gonna do a 1/2 cup, which is about half of this tub of feta cheese. I know you want the whole tub on there. Oh shoot, we're gonna have to do it. I went up going too far. So it's about a whole cup of cheese. Could have gotten by with a half a cup of cheese maybe, but we're going to toss that through.
Did you eat up all the shrimp from the other day? Maybe use it in other recipes?
I did. We have
I
a panini maker over here, and I made. You weren't home. I made a shrimp panini with the last 9
you
shrimp the
serious?
other day. Yeah, I lined up 9 shrimp on 1 piece of bread and put a little cheese on there. I had some Swiss and Gruyere, and I made a quick little grilled sandwich for myself. It was delicious.
Would you
All right.
suggest a replacement for the feta just in case somebody doesn't like it?
For a different cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah, add a different cheese if you like in there. Or don't put cheese in. If you're not going to put the cheese in, I would add salt and pepper. Or I would add salt for sure. And if you're not going to put the cheese in, you could even add some lemon with your salt, but I would add a little bit of salt for sure, because it's definitely saltier from the addition of the cheese. Okay, it's time to check on our chicken. So we're going to check the temperature. Can you smell it?
Oh yeah.
Good. I mean, these are big chicken breasts, so I had a feeling that 15 minutes wasn't going to cut it. And we're at about 125 degrees, so I'm going to put it back in for 5 minutes. I could have butterflied them to make them cook quicker. I could have pounded them to make them cook quicker, but I wanted to see how long they would take just going this route. All right, we're done with the chopper. Let's check on our shredded cucumbers and see if they've lost some of their moisture. Yeah, look at this. I did this in a clear bowl so that you could see. Look at how much moisture's come out of the cucumber already. So I'm gonna put it back on the bowl and give them a squeeze. So now I'm able to pull those excess paper towels over the top and push down, and there's more liquid coming out still. I'll lift it up and see if you can see that. Can you see all the liquid coming out? Don't be grossed out. You like it when it's done.
No, I know. It just doesn't look
What
satisfying.
happens is tzatziki sauce is much better when it's thick. If you kept all of this liquid in and just shredded the cucumber and threw it in with the yogurt, you'd have a really runny sauce, and it's just not the same. You have a more concentrated cucumber flavor this way too. Okay, you gotta cover your eyes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look at how much more juice I got out now. Isn't that amazing?
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's mostly water. And so all of the cucumber essence and flavor are still in the shredded bits, and it's that excess water that's just removed. So we're going to peel the cucumbers out of the paper towel and put them back in the bowl.
Could you possibly recycle the moisture and pour it over the chicken?
I probably wouldn't pour it over this chicken, but it would be delicious in a smoothie or a green juice. Not for you, for me.
Yeah. Nope. Not even close.
Might be good with tomato sauce too. Where's my extra towel? I had an extra towel.
Here?
Yes, that's the one I'm looking for. Okay, so now we're going to add the rest of our ingredients to the tzatziki sauce. You're going to start smelling this very soon.
Oh yeah.
So I replaced my planer the other day. I know that I've been showing you how I mince garlic on a planer, and mine did not have a handle on it anymore, and there were a lot of comments about it, so I replaced it, and I got a new one on Amazon, and I posted a link to this one in the video description. It has a handle, and it has a cover, so you won't scratch your fingers if you go grabbing for it in the kitchen drawer. We're going to add 1 clove of raw garlic to our shredded cucumber. And we're just going to shred it on here. The reason I like to shred the garlic on a microplaner is the smaller you can make. Wow, that's really sharp. The smaller you can make it.
You okay?
I'm going to need a Band-Aid. Can you go get one for me in my bathroom?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to wait now. If it's not in there, you might have to check your bathroom. I might have gone. Is there one in there? No. All right. I have a feeling I went through a whole box of Band-Aids this month because of my spider bite. There should be Band-Aids in there. Did you find any?
No. Oh. I don't know. That first aid kit I have it.
Ah, perfect.
I still have it, yeah.
All right, and I'll look for questions while you're looking for me. Yes, I'm fine. I just, the new planer is very sharp and I wasn't paying attention to how close. There've got to be smaller ones in there. And I wasn't paying attention to how close my finger was getting. Yes, I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Yeah, 2 boo-boos on the same hand. That's actually, I actually have oven burns on both hands too. Are you kidding me? All the Band-Aids are ginormous.
Pretty cool wrap for your finger.
I could cut one. Yeah, I'll just cut it in half. Or maybe you could. Or scissors in here. Will you cut this in half lengthwise that way?
Yeah, this way?
Mm-hmm. While we're doing that, I will check the temperature of the chicken.
It's on the towel when you need it.
Huh?
I said I put it on the towel.
Okay, chicken is done. So we'll pull that out and let it rest. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You want the other half just in case?
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna need it because I just messed this one up. It curled where you cut it. No, where's the other half of the one you cut?
I can't find it. It's fine. I'm super clumsy. I'm a clumsy smurf.
No, you're not a clumsy smurf. Well, this is the real stuff that happens in a kitchen, right? The key
I've
is.
seen Ramsey do it. It's all
Yep,
good.
it happens to everybody. It is one of the pitfalls of not focusing. I mean, the more you talk and look up, you really have to be even that much more
That thing
focused
looks
about.
really sharp too.
That one is really sharp, which means I'm going to love it. It
And
works
hate it at the
really
same
well. It did an amazing job on the garlic. Okay. All right, and then maybe you can go back to answering questions then.
Yep, let me just put this way.
And I'll go back. So we're going to add some dill next. So we've got our shredded cucumbers that have been salted and drained of some of the excess moisture. We've added 1 piece of garlic that is finely minced. We're going to add a full bunch of chopped dill. I'm going to chop it pretty fine. Dill is a spice that has a citrus note to it. It's really fragrant. I love it a lot. I didn't always love it.
What colors are in your dream catcher?
What colors?
Yeah.
Like pastel, it's pastel rainbow colors of chopped dill that I add. We're going to add a little bit of green onion.
It's like what? White, blue, pink, yellow, green?
And some gold.
Yeah.
The yellow is kind of a goldy yellow.
Is that right?
There's some purple in there too.
Purple? Yeah. Is that all of them? Yeah, yeah.
You want me to turn it?
No, that's okay. I just want to know what colors are in it. Well, I wanted to know.
Okay. So the cucumber, or the green onion ends up being about 2 tablespoons as well. Add a little bit of cilantro, which will end up being around 2 tablespoons as well.
How come after you cut it, right, and then you wipe it off with the knife, how come that doesn't cut?
Well, I chop it in a couple of directions first to try to get it nice and small. So I'll go in one direction and then I'll turn and go in the other direction.
Yeah.
Oh, it's stuck. It's because it's got some moisture to it.
Yeah.
I go like that to wipe it off the knife.
Yeah.
And then pick it all up and put it in the bowl.
That right there, when you do that, how
Oh,
come
I'm
that
going on
doesn't-
an angle. I'm going on an angle,
Okay,
so
every
it's
time I
not.
see it, I'm like,
No, I'm not using any
Okay.
pressure, and I'm going on an angle.
Okay.
It's not sharp at all on my
freaking out, I
skin.
was
Oh,
like-
sorry.
it's like what?
Okay, so we've added all of our green ingredients. We're now ready to add our Greek yogurt. And like I said, I'm making a huge batch because we end up using this tzatziki sauce in lots of other dishes. So I'm going to add the full 32 ounces. This is Greek yogurt that's 0% fat. And we'll mix it all together.
Are you planning on making a cookbook with your recipes?
I have done, my first time publishing my recipes was in my book, 80 Handmade Gifts, which came out about a year ago. And in that book, one of the chapters is recipes for foods that I love to give as gifts, which is great for holidays. I can post a link to where you can purchase that book in the video description later. Otherwise, I have not thought about making a complete recipe book yet, but I just need to figure out a theme or what I end up doing. But yes, it's certainly within the realm of possibility. Okay, you ready to taste? We're going to probably salt it and add some lemon juice, but if you want to give it a taste first.
Good. Maybe
Definitely needs lemon and salt. I always like to check it first though, because I didn't salt it that much when we were draining the liquid out, but I salted it enough that I really don't want to assume that it needs salt. I like to check it first. All right, so we'll start. I think we're going to need 2 lemons. These are small lemons, so we'll start with 2. And we'll squeeze the juice out in a juicer.
The view is blurry.
Hmm?
Somebody said the view is blurry.
Really?
Yeah.
It could be their connection too. Is your view blurry?
A little bit, yeah.
It could be a connection.
Yeah.
Could be our upload connection, or it could
Yeah.
be the
No, I was-
download
yeah.
connection. I love how this hangs on to the seeds,
Other people are saying it's good. It could just be the connection.
Yeah.
On some places.
including our connection here. Oh, we got 1 seed. All right, so we'll mix this up again. We added a little bit of salt and we added some lemon juice. You hungry, huh?
I'm dying.
I know.
It's be a great
All right.
pre-workout meal before
We
the
are
gym.
going to be hanging on to this dish and using it for several days, which is all the more reason that you never use the same spoon when you taste out of it, because it's the bacteria from your mouth that could make it go bad faster in the refrigerator. Truly.
Really?
So give that a try. So even though when we're making food at home, if you're only making for the one meal for your family, sometimes it's very tempting to try food off the same spoon more than once. But especially if you have guests, it's not a cool thing to do. But especially if you're making food for advanced dishes as well, it's all the more reason to not do that. Because it is the bacteria from
You
your
like how
mouth.
it tastes now?
I love how it
Yeah.
tastes now, you too?
Yeah.
Now if you have the
Lemon
time
always helps.
to put it in the fridge and let it sit for an hour, the flavors will marry even more. So actually this will taste better tomorrow than it will tonight. Not to say that it's not going to be delicious tonight. Okay, next thing we're going to do is chop up the chicken, and then we should be ready to plate.
Yes. Is the skin? Oh yeah, the skin's still on. Okay.
No, there's no skin on the
Oh,
chicken.
there isn't? Oh, it looks like it. from
Nope,
here.
boneless, skinless chicken breast. Let's see, is it too
Perfect.
hot to be cooled? Nope, that's fine. Now, if I were making traditional shawarma, which I don't think we're really going and really necessary tonight, but if you wanted to make traditional shawarma, to make the shawarma pitas, after we cut the chicken right now, you could throw it back in the oven under the broiler and get little crispy bits on your chicken. Do you want me to do that, or do you just want to eat?
I just want to eat.
That's what I thought.
Sorry.
I prefer to cut meat with a serrated knife, so I'm gonna grab another knife again.
We've had that knife for a long time.
I've had this knife a very long
Yeah,
time.
I've used it.
Yeah, I feel like, let's see, we'll start with one of the smaller ones.
I mean, I remember using it when I was young.
And then the other thing that I do is cut meat on against the grain. So when you see that the chicken, if the strands of the chicken go this way, you want to cut in the opposite direction. And I just happen to know that if I go opposite of the way it's sitting, opposite of, you know, offset from the point, that's a good place to start. Look at that, perfectly cooked and still juicy. You want to give it a taste?
Yes,
Here.
please.
Taste that and tell me what you think.
Mm.
Oh, I didn't salt it yet.
Still good though.
It's still good, yeah. Actually, I think we've got enough salt on everything else that we can skip salting the meat. What do you think?
Can I try one more time?
Yes, of course.
I'll be your deciding factor.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to salt the meat after I slice everything? That's what I would have done if we were going to put it in the oven and do second cooking for shawarma.
Maybe just a little bit. I mean, not
Yeah.
much though.
Well,
It's
what
still-
I'll do is I'm going to slice all the chicken, put it back on the plate with the juices, salt it, and then toss it in all the pan juices. That'll be the best. Are there any questions? You're on your
No.
phone, so
No.
are you sure there's no
No.
questions? Okay. So we're going to toss them right back onto the pan with the pan juices. So whether you were going to put them back in the oven to toast up these pieces or not, or just serve them the way they are now, nice and juicy, either way, tossing it in the pan juices is always really delicious. And it's a great time to add the salt then, because then you're getting the salt into the interior of the meat, not just the exterior of the meat. But notice how we let the chicken rest for 10 minutes or so before we cut into it. I mean, normally we talk about that with steak, but honestly, it's great for any meat, no matter what you're cooking. If you bring it to the correct temperature, let it sit and cool a little bit before cutting into it, the juices will have a chance to all go back into their proper places, and you will, and the juices won't spill out onto the pan as much, which retains all that juiciness inside.
Those corner pieces.
You want another bite?
That one.
You want that one?
Thank you.
Okay. All right,
Oh my
almost.
God.
You've got 2 more to go.
So good.
2 more to go, then we'll salt them and,
I think this is
Then
one of
we'll
my
plate
favorite
everything.
ways that you
Hmm?
cook chicken. It's probably one of my favorite ways.
shawarma.
Yeah. So good.
Did that work?
I think so.
Oh, good.
Yep, we're
We
back up.
lost connectivity for a second there, guys. Sorry about that. So someone was asking where you can find these recipes. All of these recipes are on my blog, and I've posted a link to where you can find that blog post in the video description here. I will also add it to the comments when we're done. But
Yep,
at the
it's
moment,
back on. We're good.
but if you go to the video description, you can find it there. All right, so we've got all our chicken sliced. I'm gonna add a little salt. You could add a little lemon juice if you wanted to at this point, but because there's so much tang in our salad and in the tzatziki, because of my side dishes, I wouldn't add lemon at this point. But if you were cooking this and making it with other side dishes, you might want to add a little lemon for brightness right now.
I can't wait to try the
Okay,
sauce.
I'm gonna try one piece, see if I like how salted it is. Perfect, just a little bit.
Let's steal another one.
It's
Sorry.
so juicy. Okay, it's time to plate.
Oh my god, so good.
All right, so I bought these pita pockets at the store.
The juice mixed in with all of it makes it a lot better.
So the pita pockets are a flat bread that when we cut it in half, it's gonna have an air pocket in the center. So cut it here, and when you open it up, it's a pocket that we can add our meat and sauce into. So I'm gonna, that one didn't work out very well. Let me try it again. Here we go, here's a pocket. And so I'm going to put a little smear of tzatziki in there. So I spread that along the bottom, and we'll add some slices of meat on top. The contrast of the spicy, or the warm spices on the meat with the tang of the sauces is going to be. Do you want me to put a little salad in there for crunch?
Yeah, why not? There's a lot of cheese in that.
Well, we'll end up making a plate, and you can have some more. If you didn't want to put this in the pitas, you could serve all of this with rice instead. I can't tell you how good tzatziki sauce is. It's going to drip on plain rice.
Is it broke out?
Mm-hmm. Give it a try.
I'm waiting all day for this.
What do you think?
So good.
I'm going to give it a try too.
It's actually unreal.
You taste all the different things together,
Oh yeah.
or you taste them all separately but together.
Good idea to put that in there.
Yeah, so we've got the tang and the creaminess and the richness of the tzatziki, the warm spices and the juiciness of the chicken, and then the crunch of the cucumber salad. I haven't even tasted it, and I know I'm gonna love it. All right, my turn to give it a try. Mmm.
This is fire.
The chewy pita, the creamy, rich tzatziki, the warm spices on the chicken, the juicy chicken, and the crunch of the cucumber. Oh my gosh, what a perfect bite. So delicious, so healthy, all plain ingredients that were at my regular grocery store, but definitely a very international flair for a weeknight meal. How many minutes did we do it in? 42 minutes. Okay, not too shabby for 3 scratch-made dishes. And most of this stuff will last to make another meal for us for sure. At least one more meal. We'll see how hungry you get later tonight.
I can't stop eating.
Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy evening to spend a few minutes with us. If you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel. And there is a playlist where you can watch more of our cooking videos. If you want to check out Marlon's channel, he is Seltzer, the music producer, and I've posted a link to his music channel in the video description if you'd like to check that out as well. We will see you Thursday at 5 p.m. for our next recipe. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you next time.